John Kerry defends liberties, says Americans have the right to be stupid. Secretary of State John Kerry offered a defense of freedom of speech, religion, and thought in the United States on Tuesday, telling German students that in America, you have a right to be stupid if you want to be. And we have a clip of John Kerry from that speech, which we will play for you right now.
Live and breathe the idea of religious freedom and religious tolerance, whatever the religion, and political freedom and political tolerance, whatever the point of view. I mean, you know, some people have sometimes wondered about why our Supreme Court allows one group or another to march in a parade, even though it's the most provocative thing in the world, and they carry signs that are an insult to one group or another. And the reason is that's freedom of speech. In America, you have a right to be stupid, if you want to be.
Americans have a right to be stupid. Now, I really like this story, Richard, just because of the fact, for a political maniac, that he called Americans stupid. But I think
he didn't call them stupid. He said they had the right to be stupid.
I think that the picketing group that he alluded to, which I assume was Westboro Baptist Church.
Why would you assume that it's Westboro Baptist Church?
I mean, from the text of his interview, he's saying basically, let me see if I can find the full text. I mean, he says that these people put out hateful speech. Let me see if I can.
So, I mean, I agree with you. I think that our Constitution gives us the right to be stupid, and that's why people elect Michelle Bachmann to the United States Congress, right?
Yeah.
I mean, and that's why people, are members of the Tea Party, and they say stupid things like, we want to take our country back, even though nobody's invaded their country. Or they say things like, President Obama's a tar baby.
So in regards to the Westboro Baptist Church thing, what he said was, people have sometimes wondered why our Supreme Court allows one group or another to march in a parade, even though it's the most provocative thing in the world, and then carry signs that are an insult to one group or another. I think that's referring to people, wanting the Westboro Baptist Church to go under, the ruling of the Supreme Court to say that, them protesting a soldier's funeral, or, a gay kid who killed himself, that should not be considered. I mean, I think John Kerry would definitely call that them exercising their right to be stupid.
I agree with you there. I think you're completely right on that. And I think, Americans do have the right to be stupid. The First Amendment guarantees us the right to be stupid. And that's why the Westboro Baptist Church is allowed to be, completely and totally maniacal. Right?
Exactly. And I think that John Kerry hit the nail on the head here. And kind of the way that he phrased it explained addressed exactly what's wrong with America, but why there's nothing that we can do about it.
Well, what do you suggest we do about it, Rich?
There's nothing that you can, because that's how our government, that's how we are allowed to do what we do here every Friday night.
But listen, folks, we're not stupid, though, are we?
I mean, I think that we wouldn't call ourselves stupid, but I think if you showed our show to members of the Westboro Baptist Church, they would say, yeah, they're definitely exercising their right to be stupid.
They'd call me a stupid black? Is that what they'd say?
Probably. I mean, don't quote me on that, but it sounds about right.
And they call you a liberal, white, black loving hippie?
Yeah, and that's exercising their right to be stupid. But, as long as you don't cross that line from, causing physical harm to someone.
Like yelling fire in a movie theater?
Well, that's actually a very interesting example, which I probably polarizes most people, because it is freedom of speech. But
are you saying it's wrong to? Yeah, it's illegal to yell fire in a movie theater because it causes public disruption.
Exactly. So it's like, where do you draw the line with that?
Well, that's the point. I mean, but wouldn't you say that, like, protesting out front of a fallen soldier's funeral, doesn't that cause public dysfunction too?
I mean, I think so, but it's a very slippery slope. I think comparing the example of yelling fire in a movie theater and picking a dead soldier's funeral are two perfect examples of, the dichotomy that comes when you talk about,
what I call
freedom of speech.
What I call dumb freedom of speech. Look, I think that John Boehner's I could think that John Kerry's talking about John Boehner. He's stupid. I mean, he's basically gonna put us into
It's
another.
awesome on so many levels. It just always works.
It does always work because he is stupid. Me making fun of John Boehner is always a good idea. America, for the record. First of all, he's orange. Second of all, he's stupid. And third of all, we're now in the era of sequester because of John Boehner.
But I think what John Kerry was talking about here, we draw the line when it starts to affect normal people.
But this does affect normal people.
Exactly. The sequester. So John Boehner's allowed to be stupid all that he wants up until a certain point.
But it's already affected normal people, and now we still have to deal with it. Can't we just lock him up and say that he's violated he doesn't have the right to do this?
You have used your right to free speech incorrectly, John Boehner. And we are revoking it for you.
I wish we could revoke. And before we revoke his, though, I think we should revoke Ted Nugent's freedom of speech. I just as much as I believe in the Constitution.
I don't think I would revoke it from Ted. He's not causing harm to people, though.
Yeah, but he tried to cause harm. He said that if Obama get reelected, either he would be dead or in jail. Quote.
Yeah.
Unquote.
I'll give you that.
That you should have. I think as Americans, we should get the freedom of speech card, and then when you say stupid things like the Westboro Baptist Church or Ted Nugent or Michelle,
you get
Bachmann,
it revoked for a little while.
You get your
get
freedom
a strike
of speech
on your freedom of speech card.
Gets revoked because you're stupid. I think
that a driver's license. You should have to take a test in order to have the freedom of speech card.
Yeah, I completely agree. One of our tweeters tweets in and they say, "What the hell happened to peace and love? Love thy neighbor." I agree. I think if everybody, all the people that profess to be Christian and profess to be conservative rights, if they all love their neighbor as themselves, they wouldn't say stupid things like the Westboro Baptist Church.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one, Richard, and I think it's definitely a great conversation that we're having here.